He Wenxiao reincarnated in many anime worlds and came to the Tivat continent to enjoy life leisurely. But I didn't expect the previous exposure system to descend on the continent of Tivat. All the scenes of He Wenxiao's life have been exposed. You can lose to anyone, but never to yourself. This body is definitely made of the infinite sword. The bond between me and You Douzi is something that no one can break. Florian, take action. Funina. As a partner of justice, you are qualified. Lei Movie. In my past life, I was actually a proud and delicate person. Naxida. The original sage, for my sake, broke through the Holy Grail War overnight. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 01 Previous life exposure descended upon Tivat. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Tivat Continent, Liyue Port, Deng Yun Tai. At a bustling intersection, there is a storytelling platform. Even though the storyteller has not yet taken the stage to give a speech, this place is already overcrowded. Many listeners choose to stand and also want to listen to this scene. The audience waiting below is discussing enthusiastically. Today is the episode of Xiaoyao Xinjuan Benji, you have to listen to everything you say. That's right, even if I stand for a few hours, I have to finish listening. I can't wait for Tian Tizui to start. In this bustling tea house in a remote corner, the two of them sat and waited for the storytelling to begin. One of the young people was as spirited as jade, with deep eyes, and the ear hanging on his left ear added a touch of playfulness. Another young man had an appearance that women envied, with long black hair tied in silver-red silk fluttering in the wind. Even sitting in a remote corner, the two still attract many women's frequent glances. The two of them are Zhongli and He Wenxiao. Listening to everyone's words, He Wenxiao finally understood. You mysteriously recommend that I must come and listen to it. I didn't expect it to be my own biography. Even though he knew that Zhongli was actually a rock god, his tone was still very relaxed. The two of them have been old friends for over 6,000 years, and if they pay attention to various etiquette, they may appear out of touch. Zhongli was not embarrassed and confidently said. I have tasted the previous one and it's really good. This book is much more detailed than unofficial history, and coupled with the profound skills of the storyteller, listening to books can be considered enjoyable. You can't miss such storytelling sessions. As he spoke, Zhongli poured a cup of hot tea and pushed it towards He Wenxiao. He Wenxiao was also polite, picked up his teacup and blew some hot air before taking a sip. In such a scene, if people knew that the person pouring tea was the god of Liyue, the Rock King Emperor Morix, they would probably be shocked to have their chin down. Tang Tang Yen Shen surprisingly poured tea for others. Ordinary people dare not even think about such things. But if they both knew the identity of He Wenxiao, they wouldn't be so surprised. Because He Wenxiao is a well-known figure in the Seven Kingdoms, some people also call him the second god of Liyue. During the War of Demons and Gods, Xiaoyao Xinjuan traveled to 7 countries and killed countless enemies. He has suppressed powerful demons and blessed countless mortals, and his achievements are shining brightly. He not only has unparalleled martial arts skills, but also unparalleled humanistic governance abilities. Many cities in the 7 kingdoms were planned by He Wenxiao, who initially built the prosperous Liyue port. In the hearts of the Liyue people, the status of the Xiaoyao True Lord is no less than that of the Rock King Emperor. Until now, people are still praising his deeds. In silence, He Wenxiao's heart fluttered. He is not a native of Tivat, but a descendant. And before coming to Tivat, he also had a travel experience. He traveled for the first time to Dongmu City, the city of fate. Several reincarnations, there have been joys, sorrows, helplessness, anger. Submit an imperfect yet perfect answer sheet at the end of each story. Finally, He Wenxiao traveled to Tivat 6,000 years ago. Having witnessed various tragedies, he devoted himself wholeheartedly to transforming Tivat. Today, Tivat is thriving and people live and work in peace and contentment. It can be considered as making up for many regrets in my past life. He is revered by people as the Xiaoyao True Lord. The never-ending hot fireball quietly climbed into the sky, and the air was filled with the fresh smell of sunlight. Just when people feel a hint of dryness and heat due to the rising temperature. Suddenly, a melodious sound came from behind the screen. People's attention was drawn to it, and storyteller Tian Tizui walked out. He cleared his throat, calming down the restless crowd. With a snap, Tian Tizui opened the gilded paper fan. In the previous chapter, it was said that in ancient times, there were great demons invading the sea, evil dragons lurking in the mountains, and monsters gathering in the plains, causing great suffering to the people. He tells the story with vivid voice and emotion. Emperor Yanwang personally visited Mount Wuhua and summoned Xiaoyao Xinjuan to guard Liyue. Xiaoyao Xinjuan cherishes sentient beings and, at the emperor's invitation, comes to the mortal world. At this point, Xiaoyao Xinjuan, along with a group of immortals and the Rock King Emperor, guarded Liyue. Just a few words made the audience feel like they had traveled back to the ancient Liyue. Although I am sitting under the stage, I am praising and promoting my deeds on stage. He Wenxiao, who is listening here, feels very wonderful at the moment. He finally understood one thing, why Zhongli likes to listen to books. The feeling of listening to others praising one's achievements. It's really enjoyable. This book received. Various monsters are invading the market, and the people cannot bear their suffering. Xiaoyao Xinjuan personally leads a large army to conquer monsters. When Xiaoyao Xinjuan set out on the expedition, he once said, "Those who have been separated will reunite, those who have betrayed will be punished, and those who have been damaged will be compensated. We must repay this world with a bright future." Just as I entered Qingce Manor, I saw a giant beast hidden among the mountains. When it exhaled, a gust of wind surged, and when it turned slightly, the earth shook and the mountains shook. The storyteller has a profound foundation. Every punctuation, intonation, and expression are just right. Let the audience be immersed in it and unconsciously, an hour has passed. That's all for today. If you want to know what will happen next, please listen to the breakdown in the next section. The whole room resounded with enthusiastic applause, and people exclaimed that they were satisfied. As soon as the folding fan was closed, Tian Tizui bowed. The second chapter of Xiaoyao Xinjuan Benji announced its end. The audience was not in a hurry to leave the tea house. The crowd was filled with praises. I have long heard of the great achievements of Xiaoyao Xinjuan. Today, after listening to a book, I couldn't help but admire Xiaoyao Xinjuan even more. Of course, Liu has developed to this day, and Xiaoyao Xinjuan's contribution is indispensable. It is rumored that the owner of the cloud ascending platform, He Wenxiao, is the incarnation of Xiaoyao Xinjuan to experience the mortal world. That's just a rumor, no one can prove its authenticity. The audience talked and talked about rumors. As famous figures who leave their mark on history, people naturally discuss in their leisure time. As a result, many unofficial stories and secret stories of the carefree true ruler have emerged. There are some outrageous rumors that have left He Wenxiao speechless for a while. But some of them are very close to the truth. For example, the owner of the cloud platform is Xiaoyao Xinjuan. Deng Yuntai was founded by He Wenxiao during his leisure time, selling some books. However, ordinary people rarely see him. It can be said that a divine dragon can see its head but not its tail. So the immortal Liu knows that He Wenxiao is the Xiaoyao true lord, but few ordinary people know their true identity. Drink the tea in one gulp, Zhongli suggested. Old friend, how about going to appreciate music, chess, calligraphy, and painting together? With an indifferent smile, He Wenxiao responded. That's exactly what it means. After thousands of years of struggle, He Wenxiao also understands how important it is to fish. He deeply understands how right Wendy and Zhong Li's choices were. Nowadays, He Wenxiao has already transformed into a street wanderer, wandering around. Antique is one of the hobbies. Just as the two of them were getting ready to stand up, dong. A powerful, distant, and heart-shaking bell resounded throughout the entire Tivat continent. Everyone stopped what was in front of them and looked up at the sky. To be precise, it's looking at the huge screen that appears in mid-air. A line of large characters appeared. Previous life exposure system, start random sampling. 02 Extraordinary Chat Group, first generation. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The mechanical and grand sound spread throughout the entire continent of Tivat. Everyone couldn't help but pay attention. He Wenxiao also turned his gaze to the sky. A hint of nervousness flashed deep in his eyes. A year ago, the previous life exposure screen descended upon Tivat. Every once in a while, a person will be randomly selected from the previous life exposure screen. People from the entire Tivat continent could be selected. The selected person will draw their past life experiences and play them on the large screen. That is to say, everyone has the potential to make a name for themselves. The originally quiet crowd became restless. I just finished listening to The Chronicles of Xiaoyao Xinjuan and came to expose it in my past life. I'm really lucky. Hehe, I remember last time I drew it was Uncle Tian. Right. I still remember that he was a prime minister in his past life, below one person, above 10,000 people. Undoubtedly, he is the heavenly cardinal star, and he was also a powerful figure in his past life. Strange past lives often attract journalists from Steam Daily to come from afar to interview. Not only Liu, but people from other 7 countries are also discussing it. I don't know who will be drawn this time. I hope to be the 7 gods, or the great figures of the 7 kingdoms. That's right, if those famous people think it's interesting. Everyone is looking forward to it. The exposure system of the past life is currently being randomly selected. Ding, extraction completed. Extract country. Liue. The person who exposed this past life, Liue Xiaoyao Xinjuan, He Wenxiao. The 4 characters, Xiaoyao Xinjuan, have infinite magic. The people of the 7 countries were all spiritually shaken. People all showed surprised expressions. This time, we really won the big shot of the famous Tivat. Before people start to marvel, what happens next is even more shocking. Just as we were about to play the video of He Wenxiao's past life exposure, the screen of Tivat's past life exposure, which has been stable since its arrival, surprisingly vibrates. A mosaic-like red color fills the screen. That looks like it's about to fall apart at any time. The mechanical sound echoed through Tivat once again. Attention, the person exposed this time is extremely special, including multiple worlds. The previous life exposure system has been upgraded. The world of Tivat has been connected to the world of Collapse and the world of Celestial Railways. The bullet screen function has been loaded. The extraordinary chat group is open. Due to the unique past life of the exposed person, it is currently being loaded. In this moment, the 3 worlds of Tivat, Collapse 3, and Starry Sky Railway shook violently. People from all 3 worlds were extremely shocked. But what surprised me the most was the people of the Tivat world. Because they have all heard of the name Xiaoyao Xinjuan. But most people don't know the real name of Xiaoyao Xinjuan. That is an existence equivalent to 1,000 years of secrecy, which has long been unverifiable. But I never thought it would be announced to the public for the first time today. As for the name He Wenxiao, the people of Liue Port are not unfamiliar. The owner of the cloud platform has created numerous popular storybooks and novels. For example, Dragon Market, Holy Heaven, Dopa World, Perfect Continent, and so on. The classic quotes are widely circulated in Tivat. The blood of any king will end with a sword. I, as the heavenly emperor, will suppress all enemies in the world. Fight 3,000 emperors with one hand, and push 13 continents horizontally with two palms. Whoever claims invincibility, who dares to speak up and remain undefeated, will never be seen in the era of Emperor's downfall. Previously, there were rumors circulating through the grapevine. He Wenxiao is known as Xiaoyao Jinjuan. However, not many people believe it. There are not only 1,000 but also 800 such rumors. Most people will laugh and shake their heads when they hear it. However, the current exposure system indicates that Xiaoyao Jinjuan is He Wenxiao. How can this not cause a big uproar? Before the previous life video could be played, the entire Tivat was boiling. Damn it, that hearsay is actually true. True and false, is the owner of the cloud platform the Xiaoyao True Lord. This is really unbelievable. Xiaoyao Jinjuan is really wandering in the mortal world. It's no wonder they were so surprised. Because this rumor is as unreliable as another rumor. A guest in the Hall of Rebirth is the incarnation of the Rock King Emperor. Speaking it out to the general public of Liyue, they will feel that your brain is malfunctioning. When many people were surprised by the true identity of Xiaoyao Jinjuan, there are still many people watching in front of us. The past life of Xiaoyao Jinjuan almost caused the exposure screen to collapse, it's so crazy. The previously exposed person's video starts playing immediately, but his past life needs to be loaded. What's even more exaggerated is that the previous life also involved other worlds. What kind of world is it when the Star Dome Railway collapses? I can't imagine how stunning the video content would be. Meanwhile, in front of countless extraordinary beings in the continent of Tivat, the three worlds of collapse, and the world of celestial railways. A semi-transparent window appears. The window displays information. Extraordinary chat group, Kiana. What's the situation? Thunderbolt Yay. There are so many worlds outside of our world. Blonia. What kind of places are Tivat Continent, the Star Dome Railroad world? Barbara. Wow, there are really people from other worlds in the chat group. Naxida. Since there is a different world, there must also be different knowledge, which is really curious. Charlotte. I didn't expect Mr. He Wenxiao to be Xiaoyao Jinjuan. I must interview him again next time I have the opportunity. Fu Xuan. It's strange. There has never been a scene like today in this hexagram. Bailu. There really is another world that exists, unbelievable. March 7th. People from different worlds chatting together, I really want to record it with photos. In the extraordinary chat group, more and more people are starting to bubble up. When a large number of group members start to get to know each other and share intelligence. Collapse of the Three Worlds, Headquarters of Destiny. The Bishop of Destiny stepped out of the mothership and looked at the screen in the sky. He couldn't hide the heat in his eyes. This previous life exposure system simply bypassed the collapse. That is to say, my plan may not necessarily fail. Otto clenched his fist and his heart became hot. Tivat Continent, Rice Wife, Eightfold Hall. The Eightfold Divine Son, who has been reading novels, walked out of the attic. I have heard about many characters in their past lives before, but I haven't paid much attention to them. According to her own statement, many people's lives are written on paper in just a few lines, mostly boring stories. There is no need to pay special attention to it. But today is completely different. Because the Eightfold Divine Son heard the man's name. The man who left his own color on Inami's wife. She looked at the sky screen and murmured to herself. If it's your story, how many bound books do you need to write it down? I'm really looking forward to it. Starry Sky Railway World, Immortal Boat Luofu. Fu Xian looked at the huge screen located above the immortal boat. There was a strong sense of caution in her expression. Even in her hexagram, such a thing had never appeared. I can't see the details at all. In different worlds, people react in various ways. The huge screen in the sky shook. Editing loading completed. Coming soon. The first episode of the previous life series. Fate Night World and main characters of this episode. He Wenxiao, Weigong Shilang plus Red A, Qin Gunhild, Altolia Pandragon, Thunderbolt General, Yuansika Rin, Kelly, Ilya, focus of this issue. Holy Grail War, Guard Palace Young Hero, Justice Partner, Infinite Sword System, Boom. The appearance of these words shakes the three major worlds. Especially the Mond and Aina wives in the 7 kingdoms of Tivat. The people there exclaimed in surprise. 03 exposure begins, I will become a partner of justice. You are listening at novel-full.audio. At the moment when the names of Qin, Kelly, and General Thunderbolt appear on the screen of the previous life exposure. The whole Mond and Inami were in a state of shock. Everyone stared at the screen incredulously. They are all very clear about what these names mean when they appear. Tranquility only lasts for one breath. Countless barrage scrolled across the screen. What's going on? General Thunderbolt. General's past life is actually in the same world as Xiaoyao Xinjuan. I remember it was recorded in history that General had a good relationship with Xiaoyao Xinjuan. I wonder how their relationship was in the previous life. I didn't expect Qin and Kelly to also appear in their past lives. This is the first time that so many people's past lives have intertwined together. The sudden influx of information is overwhelming. My eyes don't even know where to look. But it doesn't prevent them from exclaiming. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine what kind of past life it would be like. I have a strong premonition that this past life was not easy. Urgent. 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 I want to see the past life of Xiaoyao Xinjuan now. In the Free Kingdom, Mon City. The current acting team leader is sitting at his desk. She was originally paying attention to the sky screen with curiosity. Because Qin has had several encounters with the immortal Liyue. She has always been curious about who Xiaoyao Xinjuan is. His past life exposure is about to begin, and Qin has been keeping an eye on it. But unexpectedly, in the past life of Xiaoyao Xinjuan, I saw myself. Qin's entire brain is about to shut down. Why did Xiaoyao Xinjuan appear in his past life? Not only Qin, but also Lisa, who was doing some work on the side, was confused. However, Lisa's focus is different. How could Qin's past life be named Altolia Pandragon? What is this? What is the situation? You know, Pandragon is the signature of the legendary Night King. And in archaeology, the Night King is male. And Qin is clearly a young girl. There is not much connection between the two. Relatively speaking, Kelly's reaction is much smaller. She is tinkering with homemade small bombs in the room, preparing to go to Xinglua Lake to come to Boda. Unexpectedly, the person exposed today is He Wenxiao. What's even more unexpected is that one's own name also appears in it. Perhaps it was the child's nature that made Kelly not consider so many things. She stopped her hand movements and tilted her head slightly to look at the sky screen. Corey's name appears on it. So, in her past life, Kelly was also good friends with Brother Wenxiao. I think Brother Wenxiao was just as good a person in his past life as he is now. Curious about his relationship with He Wenxiao in his past life. Even the big plan was put aside, and Kelly was completely focused on the sky screen. Rice wife, Tian Shou Gu. In the highest attic, the purple-haired girl looked at the characters on the screen without saying a word for a long time. Originally, the exposure of an ordinary person's past life would not have caught her attention. As the deity leading Inami's wife, Lei Movies rarely mix their emotions. Of course, we won't pay attention to unimportant matters. However, the person exposed this time is He Wenxiao. That mysterious person who has had many entanglements with himself. Even when she was meditating in the Pure Land, she was awakened. What's completely unexpected is that, my own name also appears in the list. Surprisingly, in her past life, she was also a rice wife named Rin Osaka. Moreover, it is highly likely that one's past life was also related to He Wenxiao. If it's an unrelated person, I'm sure they wouldn't specifically mention their name. Thinking of this, a different emotion surged in Lei's heart. The Thunder God, also known as the Eternal God, as a warrior, rarely changes his expression. But at this moment, her pretty face couldn't conceal her surprise. At the same time, deep down in Lei's heart, he also looks forward to. What kind of person was myself in my past life? Just as people react in various ways. Wow! The huge screen located in the sky flickers with dazzling light. The collapse of the three worlds, the Tivat continent, and the Star Dome Railway world caused the audience in all three worlds to quiet down. They all know that Xiaoyao Xinjuan's past life is about to be officially broadcasted. The screens of the three worlds in the sky began to simultaneously expose He Wenxiao's past life. At the beginning of the scene, there is a wasteland amidst a sea of flames. The blazing flames were burning with a crackling sound, thick smoke keeps rising and blocking the night sky. A man with empty eyes and scars all over his body was digging through the ruins with both hands, as if searching for something important. The entire scene is filled with an indescribable tragic atmosphere. After a long time, the man rescued a dying little boy from the ruins. The picture changes rapidly without people thinking too much. 5 years later, under the bright moon, the man and the little boy sat in front of the yard. A line of words appeared next to the little boy. Weigong Shilang, childhood, He Wenxiao, everyone understands. The little boy is the past life of Xiaoyao Xinjuan. Originally, the first scene was the beginning of his life. A big and a small couple started chatting on a moonlit night. The little boy said with a hint of playfulness, "Since the old man cannot fulfill his dream, let me fulfill it on your behalf. I will become a just partner." The people who had held their breath spoke one after another. I didn't expect that Xinjuan's past life would start with a big fire. It seems that he has been adopted. Unfortunately, I don't know what exactly happened back then. I have to say, Xiaoyao Xinjuan was quite cute when he was a child in his past life. Extraordinary chat group, Wendy. I smell the scent of heroic epic, as a bard, I can't miss it. Dialect. A just partner. I don't know where his future will go. Clara. I hope Shiro can live a good life with his family. Haida. I don't know why, I always feel that Shiro and I have similarities. Many people's hearts tremble when they hear, just companions. Especially the people of the Tivat.All kingdom exclaimed in surprise. When it comes to justice, their country is the most capable of judging. A righteous partner. It sounds very handsome. Just listening to this ideal feels like a heroic path. Undoubtedly, he is the true ruler of Xiaoyao. Even in his past life, he thought about how to hang a teapot to help the world. The aficular opera house became even more boiling. Funina, sitting in a high position, appeared to be full of interest. She gazed at the immature face on the screen. "Oh, I want to see if you, the just partner, are qualified. As the god of justice, we cannot be ambiguous in addressing those who carry justice." It's been a long time since her heart was so excited. After all, this may be the opportunity to judge the true ruler of Xiaoyao. Before people could relive it, the screen had already switched. The soft sound of the piano rang out. "This is the blurry dream of Rin Osaka, isn't Yashizaka Rin the former life of General Thunderbolt?" The hearts of everyone were shaken, and the past life of the Thunder God was also about to be exposed. The man reached out and touched her head, handing her a book. The little girl with 2 ponytails was holding this book happily. Then I looked up and saw the figure of the man leaving. She was left alone holding a book, and standing in place the little girl could only say one sentence. Be careful on the way, father. Many people are keenly aware that the beginning is to kill memories. Soon, the blurry dream disappeared. Ding-ling-ling, the alarm rings. Suddenly, a seam appeared in the fluffy bedding. The girl impatiently peeked out and glanced at the direction of the alarm clock. It's too noisy, stop it for me. She reached out and threw out a book, trying to hit the alarm clock. Accurate but not very good, it was thrown askew. This kind of elder sister style carries some cute feelings, I have to say it's too provocative. The alarm clock was still ringing, and she had to get out of bed in her pajamas. Get up and prepare, put on the red and black school uniform, and then, a beautiful girl with long legs and black ponytails appeared. The new book set sail, begging for data support from all readers. This is very important for the author, as it relates to whether a book can be written on. 2,000 fresh flowers with a new chapter. 100 review votes plus one more chapter. 3 monthly tickets with one more chapter. 3 rewards and 1 chapter more. Adding more rules here, providing support for readers is my motivation to update. General 04, your past life was so lovely. You are listening at novel.full.audio. When this short scene is displayed, the whole Tivat can be described as a friar. My goodness, the past life of General Thunderbolt has appeared. How do you feel that Rin Osaka is different from what you imagined? After Xiaoyao Xinjuan was exposed, he followed General Thunderbolt's exposure. Needless to say, there must be a lot of connection between the two. Whether to say it or not, Rin Osaka's beautiful legs make people. If you want to say the most surprising country, it must be Inami. Everyone is looking forward to the appearance of the deity. In a short period of time, people began to discuss hotly. General, you are really in the same world as Xiaoyao Xinjuan. Maybe. This is a two-life relationship. Why do I feel that Rin Osaka doesn't look too much like a god? Yes, I always feel that my first impression doesn't have the temperament of a general. After all, it's a past life, maybe it's completely different. At the same time, various messages popped up in the extraordinary chat group. Alicia. What a beautiful girl, I really want to become friends with her. Teresa. Just admit that you're cute, but you're still a bit inferior to Bendressa. Wuliang to Jizi. Why does the old woman pretend to be so? Teresa. Jizi, if you don't speak, no one will consider you mute. Kyoko Sakura. Although Rin Osaka is very cute, there is a big gap in her image compared to the shogun. Kafka. General Thunderbolt sounds domineering, but he doesn't want to be so cute in his past life, eightfold divine child. Oh my, I didn't expect General Thunderbolt to be so cute in his past life, it's really irresistible to pity. People who have some understanding of General Thunderbolt are all surprised. But the most surprising thing is still the movie itself. In her imagination, her past life should be similar to her present life. However, not only are their appearances not very similar, but their personalities are also vastly different. Previously, Lei Movies had also heard of someone whose past life was completely different from their present life. Not to mention gender, even race has changed. Relatively speaking, it's just about changes in appearance and personality. It can be said to be a very ordinary thing. However, for the Thor who pursues eternity, this seems to negate one's own beliefs. My past life may just be different from the scene in front of me. She may also have a goal she has been pursuing. Your Excellency Tian Shou, the soldiers are also discussing enthusiastically. Various voices of amazement, praise, and surprise rang out. Even though I understand that Rin Osaka is from my past life, I can't help but feel a sense of empathy in my heart. Those words caused a hint of panic in Rei's heart. She looked at the extraordinary chat group in front of her. Various simple and unadorned praises flooded in. So, Lei's movies became even more at a loss. Especially, seeing the words of the Eightfold Divine Son. She only feels a bit itchy at the root of her teeth. My friend, whenever I have the opportunity, I will make a few jokes. Many times it leaves people speechless. If there is a chance in the future, be sure to teach her a lesson. Before leaving, Rin Osaka returned to the darkroom and took a red pendant. People look at the strange furnishings in the darkroom, and know this girl is not an ordinary person anymore. Holding the pendant in his hand, Tosaka Rin said calmly. Although it hasn't officially started yet, be careful and there won't be any mistakes, right? The audience suddenly understood that there was no doubt that the Holy Grail War was being talked about here. Rin Osaka walked to the school and it was very quiet all the way. She met a head of the archery department, Mei Zhu, at school, and noticed that the clocks at home seemed to be 1 hour faster. People don't pay too much attention. Immediately, Rin Osaka was invited by Mizuru to visit the archery department. Then, the second important character appeared. Jiantong Sakura, with a soft and weak appearance, greeted the two of them. The meeting between Rin Osaka and Sakura makes people feel an indescribable and unnatural feeling inside. Seems too indifferent. It seems like there's something deeper hidden on the way. Rin Osaka was stopped by another voice. Ah, far bored, good morning. It's really lucky to meet you here. Rin Osaka's expression changed from surprise to a bitter smile, and then it transformed into a disdainful smile. The vivid description of the facial expressions in this series can be said to be just right. Even without introduction, the audience knows. This suddenly emerging boy must be very annoying. Rin Osaka turned around with a smile. Good morning, Jian Tongshan, you're really early today. The scene cuts on to Shen, who is harmless to humans and animals. Of course, I am the main general. My first impression is that I feel a bit handsome after reading it, but I didn't feel anything particularly annoying about it. But what is unquestionable is that this boy has thoughts about Rin Osaka. The licking dog's appearance has already been revealed. Many boys can understand at a glance. Faced with the entanglement of Shinji Nobunaga, Rin Osaka's response made the audience even more fond. She flicked her hair and crossed her waist, saying, Not only am I not interested in archery, but I also have no interest in you. In fact, this is the first time I know you will appear on the archery field, and I believe I won't want to see you from now on. At the school gate, Shen-er's angry and embarrassed voice echoed. What are you talking about? Far bored, you guy. Rin Osaka walked away without looking back. Being self-indulgent is your freedom, but it's still better to stop it in moderation. This scene immediately ignited the viewers. Especially the people with rice wives are particularly excited. I used to think that General's past life was very inappropriate, but now I admit that I was wrong. Humph, even in his past life, General is still brave and handsome. Oh my, even a girl like me has been pretty. Stop talking, my sister has already been moved. Taking a deep breath, Lei's tense nerves relaxed slightly. From the beginning, it seems that I was a lady from a wealthy family in my past life. She is very worried about whether her past life will become soft and weak. But seeing this behind the scenes, there was no such worry anymore. Lei Movie understands that in his past life, he was not that kind of person. When faced with something, Rin Osaka will not be indecisive. When it's time to strike with a heavy fist, one will never be submissive. While breathing a sigh of relief, Lei Movie felt a slight nervousness in his heart. She is well aware of one thing. Although it was the exposure of He Wenxiao's past life, he kept filming his own past life. This can only indicate that, my past life is closely related to his past life. I just don't know how the relationship in my past life is compared to the relationship in my present life, which side will come closer. 05 Strongest Saber, start summoning from the servant. You are listening at novel.full.audio. The sky's huge screen image continues. On the way, characters appeared one after another. Teacher Fujimura. Student president. And the boy who is repairing the heating. However, he only gave a silhouette. The audience doesn't know who it is either. In front of the classroom door, a girl weakly called out to Yuansaka Rin and wanted to have lunch with her. Rin Osaka refused directly because she didn't have the habit of bringing bento. Return to the classroom. The short-haired girl leaned back in her chair and chatted confidently. As I've said before, she won't bring bento boxes with her. The other girl wearing glasses turned around. When I was young, wouldn't you just follow me to the cafeteria? The short-haired girl let out a cold snort. No, no, don't you dare to try sitting with the distant board. I'm telling you, boys' gaze is really annoying. Last time during the holiday, it was the same. Even though a few people went out to play, it was all her who showed off in the end. The girl with glasses responded faintly. When I was young, it seems that Miss Yuan Ban has heard all the bad things you said clearly. The short-haired girl froze and her expression gradually became frightened. She turned around suddenly and indeed found that Far Saka was leaning against the classroom door, looking at her with a smile on his face. His gaze was very kind-hearted. Many viewers school rooftop. Lin took out the red pendant and murmured to himself. Thanks to it, the clock at home is not working properly. Although this is also a remarkable thing, it is not of much use for summoning the strongest servant. Saber. In one sentence, it pulls the audience out of their ordinary daily college life. There are naturally those who broadcast knowledge among people. Someone quickly analyzed the meaning behind it. Servant Saber translates to servant swordsman. The strongest swordsman. People's hearts are slightly touched. Especially for the people of the Tivat continent. Excluding power beyond the specifications of the eye of God. If the country's technology is not advanced, then we can only rely on our own strength. That is to say, various cold weapons, such as swords, guns, bows, and so on. When it comes to swordsmen, the most representative one is Mond. As a knight, the sword can be said to be the most important weapon. It is not only symbolic, but also the inheritance of Mond's skills. Various swordsmanship has a long history in Mond Yuan. People couldn't help but discuss. Extraordinary Chat Group, March 7th. Do you say that Rin Osaka can summon swordsmen? Say no. Everything is ready, and it can definitely be summoned without any accidents. Yura. Wait a moment, when it comes to swordsmen, isn't the leader of the Qin band also present in his past life? Noel. That is to say, the past life of General Thunderbolt will be linked to the past life of the Qin captain. Fisher. It's very likely that Rin Osaka will summon Altoria Pandragon. This is my confidence as a high-level summoner of the Seven Saints. Mona. From an astrological perspective, the two of them really have a great relationship. As soon as this sentence was uttered, people immediately became agitated. People with fast thinking are very likely to think of this possibility. Inami's wife, General Thunderbolt, surprisingly has contact with the Knight Mond. Not only the people of Mond, but also the people of Inami have such thoughts. The initial subtitle annotations forced people to think in this direction. The screen rotates. A day of school life has come to an end. Yuansaka Rin returned to the familiar quaint villa. In the phone message, a mature man's deep voice rang out. It's me. Although I think you understand, Lin, tomorrow is the deadline. If you're too leisurely, I'll be very troublesome. There are still 2 remaining seats, only archer and saber positions, and all masters must be gathered as soon as possible. Summon servant as soon as possible and activate the curse. Of course, if you don't want to participate in the Holy Grail War, that's another matter. If you still cherish life, go to the church as soon as possible. After finishing his message, Rin Osaka let out a cold snort and said, "You don't have to say I know." The camera moved to her hand, and the red curse was faintly visible. People's relaxed mood instantly became tense. They know that the important part has just begun. Rin Osaka will be summoning soon. Audiences from all three worlds are focused on staring at the screen. This is a system completely different from the three worlds. Everyone wants to see what's going on. In the darkroom, Rin Osaka pushed away the table. Expose a complex and ancient magic circle underground. Preparation completed. Time confirmation. Rin Osaka glanced at the clock again, then he touched his wrist and said, wavelength confirmation. Nodding slightly, she confidently walked into the magic circle. As long as you cooperate with my magic to reach its peak and summon at 2 a.m. Even if there's no catalyst, I'll summon Saber to show you. Such words make the audience more curious. How will the summoning begin? Does magic mean magic? Is the summoned Saber the past life of Qin? With doubts in their arms, audiences from all three worlds stared tightly at the screen. Rin Osaka closed her eyes and breathed through her skin to reach her best state. She picked up many colorful magic stones in her hand and slowly raised her hand. Its base is silver and iron. Their ancestors were our ancestors, who worshipped In-Augu. The door opens and closes in all directions, coming out of the crown, at. As the spell was spoken, the magic stones turned into liquid and fell into the magic circle. The ancient magic circle began to emit light and became increasingly dazzling. Full profit, full profit. Repeat the cycle, followed by 5. However, the moment of abundance is the moment of abandonment, set. Suddenly, the magic circle under the feet of Rin Osaka turned red and yellow, becoming more condensed. Announce. Your body listens to my commands, and my life is entrusted to your sword. If you follow the fate of the Holy Grail and follow this meaning, then respond accordingly. Rin Osaka's tone became increasingly serious. I am the one who achieves all good deeds in the world, and I am the one who punishes all evil in the world. Even through the screen, people can feel the spread of magical energy. She began to be covered in red light all over. You, as the guardian of the heavenly Libra, have descended upon this place in the wheel of inhibition, entwined with the three great spirits for 7 days. With Kong's incantation downstairs, the red light exploded inside the house. A strong wind rose and spread in all directions. After the smoke shrouded, Far Saka Rin gasped and squatted on the ground. She couldn't hide her excitement as she looked at the red curse on the back of her hand. Perfect. Without a doubt, I drew the strongest card. Such words made many people burst into laughter. Her reaction was like that of a child playing games. Amidst playfulness, it reveals cuteness. Make people feel more favorable in their hearts. However, the summoned servant did not appear. This has caused some people to feel slightly worried. Shouldn't it be that something unexpected happened? I have a bad premonition. Amidst the huge screen, the visuals continue. Rin Osaka regained his senses from joy. Looking blankly at the room swept by the explosion, hey. Dong. The whole house shook. Yuansaka Rin quickly went upstairs to inspect and kicked open the broken door. So, a picture appeared in front of Guan. In the room where he returned without looking, a white-haired man dressed in red was sitting cross-legged on the shapeless sofa. A burst of tense music rang out. The camera provides a thoughtful close-up of the white-haired man's entire body. His muscular physique, elusive six-pack abs, coupled with his handsome and domineering face. And there is also a line of words beside him. Red A, He Wenxiao, the chat group of the extraordinary is boiling hot. 06 Red A shines on. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Extraordinary chat group, fireworks. Is this little brother too handsome? Rink. With a loud bang in the sky, Red A appears brightly. Kiana. Oh, wasn't He Wenxiao a former palace wolf in his past life? Thunderbolt Yay. Cough cough, Kiana, his name is Weigong Shilang, not a hyena. Rita. Can you say that when Weigong Shilang grows up, he becomes red A? Xianyan. Humph, Xiaoyao, this guy also had this playful and disrespectful appearance in his past life. Kuqing. Why was Xiaoyao Xinjuan so charming in his past life? There's a saying I have to say, great love immortal lord. Yi Lan. I don't know what happened during Xiaoyao Xinjuan's growth process, and the changes before and after were too great. The female audience only felt a slight increase in heart rate. Even some people unconsciously drool. I wish I could crawl into the screen and feel the touch of my abdominal muscles. They take it for granted that Red A is considered as the grown-up Ichiro Omiya. Some people also notice a sense of discord but cannot explain what is going on. After all, the past lives that people see are just fragments. Jumping directly from childhood to now naturally results in incomplete information. Especially what is the relationship between Yoshihiro Omiya and Red A, because it is the first time people have seen the name of Brother Lu in their past lives. No one knows what it means. At this time, people still in the storytelling tea house are also puzzled. Zhongli scrutinized the content of the extraordinary chat group. The doubts in my heart have also increased. Others are unclear about the reason behind it. Shouldn't the old friend in front of me know better than anyone else? Immediately, Zhongli spoke up and asked. Old friend, do you know what's going on in this scene? Regarding this, He Wenxiao shook his head slowly. You also know that was a past life event. Even if you ask yourself, you won't get a definite answer. Taking a light sip from the tea cup, Zhongli said. You're right, who can remember a past life? If you want to know the answer, just keep watching the exposure. He Wenxiao looked at the exposure screen. He only has a vague impression, and he can't remember the details clearly. To say why, his experience of reincarnation has long been immeasurable. Perhaps due to the so-called wear and tear, many things have become blurred. Nowadays, I only remember some fragments at most. As the conversation turned, Zhongli asked again. Speaking of which, old friend, you're not nervous at all. He Wenxiao frowned and said, how can I say this? Zhongli smiled slightly and said, don't forget, this past life has involved several other people. Especially the deity of Inami, although I heard that your relationship is not shallow. If something happens in your past life, unfortunately, that deity will cross the sea and attack. After a slight shock, He Wenxiao chuckled softly. Hey, who am I? I'm Xiaoyao Xinjuan. If that little girl dares to come, I dare to take it. His words are extremely light-hearted. Completely not treating a country's deities as a threat. While people were discussing passionately, the visuals continued. Upon hearing the words, Red A opened her eyes and looked towards far Sakaki Rin. Randomly, the corner of his mouth slightly rises. Responding with a joyful expression. This scene once again caused many girls to exclaim in surprise. One look, all so awesome. Thinking rapidly in his mind, Rin Osaka saw the wall clock in the room. Suddenly, she understood. I remember the clock at home was only 1 hour faster today, which means it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Not 2 o'clock. Grasping her head with both hands, she couldn't help but squat down in frustration. I messed it up again. I can't do anything about it, but what kind of problem did my father leave for me? But Rin Osaka quickly calmed down. Turning his head, he asked. Speaking of which, who are you? Red A eternal magnetic sound opening. Is that what I said when I spoke? It seems like I've encountered another amazing master. He lightly waved his hand and said, oh my, I really drew the next draw now. Yuansaka Rin stood up and walked up to Red A. She hugged her chest with both hands and said, just to confirm, you should be my servant, right? Red A remained in a graceful sitting posture and said, I was wondering if you were my master. I didn't even see you when I was summoned. It's not just a newly hatched bird, but don't tell me that you only decide your owner when you open your eyes, Rin Kisaka replied calmly. She continued in a cold and aloof tone. Forget it, all I want to ask is one thing. Are you my servant, not someone else? After all, it's better to clarify the master-slave relationship from the beginning. Both of them were very proud, their tone and demeanor were so proud and coquettish. At this moment, audiences from all three worlds were delighted. Neither of these two people is convinced. As soon as we met, we thought about putting pressure on each other. Both of them are wearing red clothes, not to mention. Even their personalities are extremely similar. Inexplicably, there will be a sense of CP. Some people who enjoy storybooks and novels even show their aunt smile. Tivat's audience has a greater reaction. The sound rises higher than the sound. Especially for the people of Inami. Everyone can't help but express their own ideas. I'll tell you, General, there must be a connection between your past life and Xiaoyao Jinjuan. Ho ho, I just didn't expect the two of them to meet so quickly. I would like to ask, where will the two of them develop in the future? At Bashongtang, many publishing novelists with a keen sense of smell realize something. How to say, record the past lives of General and Xiaoyao Jinjuan. I have this plan in mind, they must have been entangled in their past lives. Hehe, I can already predict that stories based on two people can sell like Tivat's. The eight-headed fairy with pink hair smiled as she listened to the authors. As a relative of Thor, she had no intention of stopping her missiles, on the contrary, it was a joyful achievement. It can be said that it is a fox's own dandruff. She looked towards the direction of Qianshou Pavilion from afar. Shadow, Shadow, if something happens between you and Wenxiao later. Hehe, I see how calm you are. At the thought of Lei's bewildered appearance in the movie, the eightfold divine son couldn't help but laugh. That's an extremely difficult scene to see. 07 Erupts with Arrogance and Elegance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon hearing these words, Red-A stood up and approached Far Sakaki Rin. His tall and muscular figure is compared to that of Rin Osaka, she suddenly appeared very petite. With one hand on the waist, Red-A said coolly. Although I am also very dissatisfied, I still admit that you are my master. But I also have a condition that I will not obey your orders in the future. I will decide the strategy for the battle, don't you have any objections, Mississippi? Looking at the height difference, many bullet comments started to appear again. Excited people can even make good barrage shots. Even Inami's wife has someone saying such things. The Lei Movie, which had been watching the screen calmly, didn't calm down anymore. She really wants to turn her head away from the picture. However, a strong curiosity drove her to continue reading. So, Lei's film fell into a constant tug of war. She kept reminding herself in her heart. This is just something that happened in a past life, and it has nothing to do with my current self. After listening to Red-A's words, Yuan Saka Rin was so angry that his body trembled slightly. She lowered her head, clenched her palm, gritted her teeth, and said. Really? Although you admitted with dissatisfaction, you still didn't want to listen to my opinion. Aren't you my servant? Even in the face of questioning, Red-A calmly sat back on the sofa. He crossed his legs again and responded coolly. Formally, it's like this, but the person fighting is myself. You just need to wait honestly in the basement of this house for the end of the Holy Grail War. It is obvious that the summoned servant does not want to be obedient and intends to turn over and become the master. The audience also felt it. Xiaoyao Jinjuan's loyal fans couldn't help but sigh. Undoubtedly, he is the true ruler of Xiaoyao. Even in the past life of General Thunderbolt, he refused to rely on others. However, everyone also noticed one thing. Rin Osaka's anger is soaring. We are soon on the brink of an outbreak. As expected, just as Red-A was chattering on about his theories, Yuansaka Rin shouted loudly. I can't bear it anymore. She raised her hand and lit a red curse. Okay, don't blame me for being impolite when you say that, announce. The arrogant atmosphere of Red A has been disrupted. The first time I panicked, I quickly crossed my legs and put them down. Difficult. Is that so? Lin fiercely chopped his foot and said, is that the impolite guy? Announce to the curse, follow the rules of the Holy Grail, and impose punishment on those in front of me and my servant. Red A could no longer maintain her composure and stood up to advise. Stop it, are you serious, master? How could anyone use a curse for such a thing? However, Lin was already extremely angry and couldn't stop. It's so noisy, listen up, you're just my servant. So you should absolutely obey what I say. She raised her arm high, a red light suddenly appeared, sweeping over Red A. He was influenced and bowed slightly, his face full of disbelief. The tone has also become more rigid and gentle than before. What the hell are you thinking? Why use a curse for such a superficial matter? The camera turned to Rin Osaka's face, and her face couldn't help but turn slightly red. It seems like I've gone too far. The three worlds suddenly burst into laughter. Although it was a nervous call, it made people laugh uncontrollably. It gives people a sense of joy and resentment towards their enemies. Even the thunderous movie on the screen turned red. My past self was also too reckless. The mingling mantra is a very important thing. But I used it because I was angry. After a while, Lin and Red A finally calmed down and started talking about business. When Red A said he didn't have a sword, not Saber, Lin couldn't help but exclaim, it's such a failure. After spending so many gems, it's not Saber who was summoned. Red A turned his face to one side and responded with a slanderous response. I'm really sorry, it's not Saber. Yashizaka Rin exclaimed, although making a big mistake is regrettable, it was me who messed it up. Red A wrapped her arms around her chest and opened one eye to look at Ling. I will definitely make you regret what I said earlier. Even if you apologize, it won't be useful. She said. It has to be said that the arrogance of this sentence has already rushed out of the screen. Audiences from all three worlds can feel it clearly. Many people can't help but smile. Subsequently, Lin asked about the origin of Red A, but he didn't even know it himself. In order to stop Ling's incessant questioning, Red A directly said, I am the servant you summoned, there is no stronger reason not to part ways. Lin's face immediately turned red, revealing an expression that said, what you said is so reasonable that I cannot refute it. After a long conversation between the two, Rin Osaka crossed his hands and said, so Archer, about your first job. Red A's gaze flickered like a beast discovering its prey. So fast, you're really belligerent. Who are the enemies? The audience's emotions also became tense. They won't forget that this is the existence of the Holy Grail War. Lin just summoned his servant, is it about to start so soon? Are we going to start fighting now? We're going to start fighting. However, as the camera moved, the broom and shovel flew over. Red A's face was stunned and he caught it in a daze. He had no understanding of what it meant. Rin Osaka smiled and said, clean the room and take responsibility for cleaning up the things you've messed up. Looking at the broom and shovel in his hand, Red A fell into contemplation. Wait. What exactly did you take servant for? Let's use the demon, right? Although it's a bit smelly, it's quite difficult to use, Lin said, bending down her cute waist. Understanding that there is no room for refutation, Red A accepted his fate and said, I understand, please go to hell, master. As a result, early the next morning, Yuansaka Rin saw a clean and tidy room. It's like shining brightly. It can be seen that Red A has been carefully taken care of. Her smile bloomed on her face. The audience from all three worlds were also overjoyed. They were originally intimidated by the aura of the Red A powerhouse, thinking that he was definitely a tough one to deal with. As a result, the first thing the strong do is do household chores. This kind of cute contrast makes the audience unable to stop. The barrage on the screen erupted again. Extraordinary chat group, Hua Hua. How do you feel? These two were both enemies in their previous lives. Kafka. Ha ha ha, there is indeed a sense of familiarity when looking at it. Qin Ke. Ah, it's so interesting that both of them look proud and coquettish. Xiao Yao Jinjun. In his past life. Was he such a person? Alicia. Hey, look at how entangled they were in their past lives. I'm afraid their relationship in this life is not simple either. Wendy. Humph, this kind of comedy is also very interesting to adapt into poetry. Gdao Shura. General in his past life. His personality was a bit peculiar. Eula. I didn't expect that the one summoned wasn't the Qin captain. Mona. Well. My astrological results should be fine, right? Kelly. When can Kelly and the piano captain appear? In the office of the Shifeng Knights. Qin looked at the picture on the screen. Also pay attention to the messages in the chat group of the Extraordinary. According to everyone's analysis, what Rin Osaka summoned should have been his own past life. The thought of having a relationship with General Thunderbolt in my past life still makes me nervous. She doesn't even know how to react to the current situation. I remember saying before that there were still 2 servants left who had not been summoned. Can you say that my past life will appear later? What kind of person would Altoria Pandragon be? How many intersections will there be with that person? The sound of Qin murmuring to himself came. Lisa's expression changed slightly beside her. This kind of reaction is not uncommon in Qin. On weekdays, she works diligently in her official duties. There is little time for distraction and relaxation. Lisa couldn't help but think. All of this is influenced by that person, right? Xiaoyao Jinjuan, He Wenxiao. Turning to her senses, Lisa looked at the sky screen. I don't know if the stories of the past life are as exciting as the present life. As a researcher, she knows a lot about He Wenxiao. I will naturally look forward to it even more. At night, Rin Osaka came to school. Just because someone set up a barrier during the day. As Lin was processing the barrier, a voice rang out. What, do you want to destroy it? It's such a waste. Pull the camera towards the source of the sound. Above the tall tower, a man carrying a long spear appeared. He is wearing silver armor and red pupils. With a small braid tied behind her, she exudes an extraordinary aura. He's a strong person. Both sides are facing each other invisibly. Viewers from all 3 worlds couldn't help but hold their breath. The battle is imminent. 08 Servants First Battle. Close Combat Archer. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yuansika Rin looked at the iron fence surrounding him, his expression slightly changed. Surrounded on all sides. If fighting here, it is quite disadvantageous for archers with remote job positions. So she wanted to transfer the battlefield to another location. Lancer saw this and praised. Hua. It's really amazing. It seems like you know nothing, but you caught the key point. Ah, it's a failure now. If I had known it earlier, I shouldn't have been on the rise. I ran up and started talking. The bright red spear in his hand sliced through the air, and a force spread. Far Sakaki Rin disregarded the opponent's movements and ran towards the outside. Lancer leaped down with a fierce and powerful shooting technique. The hearts of the audience immediately hung in suspense. After this period of exposure, they also gained a lot of basic intelligence. For example, many followers are incarnations of heroes, much stronger than ordinary people. And Lin knows some magic. But no matter what, they are all mortal beings with flesh and blood. How to confront followers? Fortunately, the next moment. Ling's body was agile and he dodged this blow. She was reciting a spell. Adjust gravity. Quoting precepts, return gravity to the earth. Bang! Rin stepped out and crossed a long distance directly, leaving Lancer's attack range. And, her body lightly crossed the iron fence. The entire movement was unobstructed and very handsome. However, it was a failure later on. Rin curled up into a ball and protected his head with both hands, saying, "Archer, landing is up to you." Everyone reacted. Good guy, this is a last-minute initiative. But no one is too worried either. Everyone knows that Red A is right beside them. At the moment when Ling was about to land, an illusory figure appeared. Catch her in the princess's embrace. And with a strong aura, he rose into the air and moved in another direction. As soon as Ling landed, he took a few breathless steps forward. The audience was just about to let go. The camera changes and Lancer's figure appears. At the same time, there is a long spear shining with a red edge. Some timid viewers couldn't help but feel their hearts rising to their throats. The long gun collided and produced sparks, but did not move forward by half a minute. Lin took advantage of this neutral gear and directly distanced himself from Lancer. At this moment, the figure of the handsome white-haired man Red A slowly emerged. Needless to say, he was just protecting Lin. Two followers stand opposite each other. Seeing this, the audience stopped holding their breath. People began to discuss one after another. Especially for the people of Liyue and Ina wife. The battle has finally begun. The servant on the other side doesn't look weak either. I don't know what their combat style will be like. Xiaoyao Xinjuan and Thunderbolt General fought side by side in their past lives, and it's exciting to think about it. Hehe, you're already ignorant. In this world, Xiaoyao Xinjuan and Thunderbolt General have fought side by side. This sentence caused quite a stir. People's curiosity is attracted one after another. Good brother, quickly say what's going on. The person responded with a proud expression. When it comes to the mystery of the gods, I can only tell you that no one understands better than me, speaking while gesturing standard movements with both hands. Everyone laughed together, waiting for his next message. Understood brother, don't be too presumptuous. Quickly give the brothers some science popularization. The person was very satisfied with everyone's reaction and spoke confidently. It's normal for most people not to understand. Because there is no detailed record of the past of Xiaoyao Xinjuan and Thunderbolt General in history. In the history books, only a few sentences are vaguely mentioned, and the events. Everyone just knows that Xiaoyao Xinjuan has come to Inami before. But I don't want him to do so much with Inami. There are even rumors that people have witnessed intimate scenes between Xiaoyao Xinjuan and Thunderbolt General. Many people were greatly shocked. Many of these words have also entered the ears of Lei film. She, who was originally paying attention to the changes in the war situation, changed her expression. Didn't I block all the messages back then? Why would such rumors still appear? Who the hell is it? Bringing up old memories. Thinking about it, a familiar face appeared in front of Lei Movie. Eightfold Divine Sun. No matter what you think, it's all her doing. Lei's face turned black in the movie, and he had to teach the fox a lesson for everything he said. In the Eightfold Hall, the Eightfold Divine Sun was still eagerly watching the screen. Occasionally clapping and cheering. That look was completely immersed. I have no idea that I have been remembered by Lei movies. In the picture, the battle is still ongoing. A curved sword appeared on Red A's hand, with a striking black and white outline of Tai Chi. Lancer sneered, great, that's how it should be. He picked up his long gun and put on a posture, I like a guy like you who shoots with a sharp knife. But who the hell are you? Audiences from 3 different worlds are also puzzled. The name of Red A's job referral is known as Archer. It's a long-range archer. Why are you planning to engage in melee with a knife now? In theory, shouldn't it be archery? Lancer saw that he was not attacking and put away his spear. Come on, show your bow. Archer, I will still wait for this time. Here, Lancer also embodies a strong sense of martial arts. But half a sound passed. Red A has no action. Even Lin was puzzled. Archer. Red A just turned around to look at her. Lin realized that he was waiting for his command. Because of the last conflict between the two, it has been decided that I will take charge. Archer, I won't take action. Let me see your power here. With a cold snort, Red A raised the corner of his mouth. There was a sudden change in one's overall aura. The next moment. With a whoosh. His figure disappeared into place, setting off a strong wind. And Lancer's pupils shrank, his expression suddenly became tense, and he swung his long gun vigorously. Bang 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 bang. Some deafening sounds of steel collisions rang out, sparks colliding between weapons. That brilliant spark was like striking iron. Every blow appears powerful and heavy. Looking at such a scene, everyone feels like their blood is boiling. An incredibly intense melee outbreak. Blade and sword shadows flashed by. The dust splashing from the ground, flying sand and stones, can be seen clearly. Red A jumped up in place and slashed towards Lancer with a fierce slash. Lancer raised his long spear with both hands to resist, and their weapons began to turn red and hot during the collision. Just using weapons to stubbornly knock on resulted in such a change. It can be imagined how powerful their attack is. Red A roared and exerted all his strength, causing the ground to crack open. Bang! The air experiences a sonic boom. Lancer flew backwards and crashed into a distant wall. Leave a big cave leak. Rin dumbfounded and murmured. This is the battle between followers. The audience is even more confused than her. This kind of battle is too fierce, isn't it? No other power was used. It's completely the exhilarating physical combat of real men. You can destroy walls and floors solely by relying on your physical body. What kind of power is this? People are all excited. Extraordinary chat group, Zhongli. Generally speaking, archers require a lot of strength to draw a bow, so it's normal for melee to be so fierce. March 7th. No, even if the archers are strong, this is too outrageous. Silver Wolf. That's right, the power of Red A has exceeded normal. GZ. That's what it means. Archers also have a heart for close combat. Tinari. Watching their battle, why don't I also try melee combat with knives? Kolei. Master, don't be impulsive. Red A is from the past life of Xiaoyao Jinjuan, so it's normal for him to be outrageous. Kiana. Even with long hands, sometimes it's necessary to engage in close combat, which gives me a taste. Thunderbolt Ye. Kiana, that's called Fengzi. Can you stop talking? Saber, who caters to both men and women in 2009, appears. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the exposure screen of the past life, the battle is still ongoing. The smoke and dust slowly dissipated, and Lancer lifted the table in front of him. Even though he just received a terrifying blow, he looked lively and energetic. It has to be said that followers cannot be measured by common sense. Without words, the spear suddenly thrust forward. A new round of offensive has begun. Perhaps by grasping the strength of Red A, Lancer's attack is even more fierce. Bang! A loud bang. The short knife in Red A's hand shattered and turned into flying ash. The audience only felt that their breath missed a beat. Losing weapons in such a fierce battle. What will happen in the future? Many people dare not imagine. However, a few people are not worried. That is someone who has known He Wenxiao before. His power changed the entire Tivat. Even if it's just his past life, Red A wouldn't easily lose. As expected, just when people thought Red A was about to fall into trouble. The next second, Red A performs a high-speed chant. The long sword condensed again in the hand. And this time, it's a double sword. Lancer was caught off guard and was repelled with a single blow from Red A. After being repelled, Lancer did not rush to attack. He carefully scrutinized Red A. This opponent is really a bit elusive. Is it a two-knife flow? Red A is also anxious, waiting for the opponent to attack. So, the two briefly stopped. As if extremely dissatisfied with Red A, Lancer wielded a long spear and waved his posture. What kind of swordsman should I wear as an archer? The audience from 3 different worlds also felt wonderful. Red A is clearly archer, but he insists on using a knife to fight with Lancer. Is it difficult? Is Red A confident that they can use their weaknesses to defeat their opponents? The audience whose thoughts flashed through their hearts were all shocked. If that's the case, then the strength of Red A would be terrifying. The two fought together again. The sound of weapons colliding with each other echoed through the entire school. Whenever the back of the short knife is repelled, Red A quickly reconstructs it. So, the two fought back and forth. Time gradually passes, and Red A's weapon is bottomless. Even if Lancer is slow, he can still sense something is wrong. After putting away the spear, there was no further attack. 26. I didn't expect to be able to take out weapons even after breaking so many pieces. Standing still, Red A responded coldly. What's wrong? Watching the situation quietly is not your style. Where did the prestige go just now? Faced with provocation, Lancer responded with questioning. You have a smooth tongue and are quite good at playing tricks. It's okay, let me ask you. Where exactly are you from as a hero? I haven't heard of archers who can use the two-blade flow technique. If the other party answers themselves with a question, Red A naturally won't answer. On the contrary, your identity is easy to guess. It is said that gunmen are the fastest heroes, and you are also outstanding among them. There are no more than 3 gunmen of this level in the world. With your agility like a beast, there may only be one person left. Seeing his identity exposed, Lancer sneered. Oh. That's great, Archer. He regained his composure and the long spear burst into a red flame. Do you want to give it a try and take my ultimate blow? The color of the spear became increasingly bright red. Looking at the phlegm, one can understand the terrifying energy it contains. It's not at the same level as the attack just now. Audiences from all 3 worlds were nervous when they saw this scene. It seems that they are ready to decide life and death here directly. Faced with that terrifying aura, Red A just calmly raised his double swords. Ultimately, we are the enemies who must determine the outcome. Lin, who was watching from the side, also felt the extraordinary fluctuations. Not good. This supernatural magic. Obviously, I am preparing to use the treasure. If this continues. Just when everyone thought a more intense battle would break out, suddenly, in the distance, a figure flashed by. Lancer keenly sensed and turned around. Who is that? Lin also vaguely saw the figure. Student. Are you still staying at school? By the time she regained her senses, Lancer had already disappeared into place. Obviously, I went to chase the ordinary student just now. Witnesses of the Holy Grail War are usually silenced. Some visually sensitive people notice, this student seems to have appeared before. It's a bit like a teenager who repaired electrical appliances before. However, no one has yet connected the two together. The audience also understands one thing. People who show their bodies will not appear for no reason. He will definitely be an important person. After a brief pause, Lin followed up with Red A. Getting unrelated personnel involved in the Holy Grail War is not what she wants to see. In the hallway of the teaching building, a boy collapsed on the ground. The bright red liquid diffused on the floor. Archer, catch up with Lancer, at least figure out the identity of the master, otherwise it won't be worth it, Lin said in a low tone. Rede nodded slightly, and her figure instantly disappeared. Lin approached with a serious expression and crouched in front of the boy, muttering to himself. Lin, this is your responsibility. Did Lancer stab you with a single shot? If your heart is damaged, there's nothing you can do. Upon careful observation, Lin noticed that the boy was still breathing weakly. Sorry, at least let me take care of you until the end. After speaking, Lin flipped the boy over. After seeing the other person's appearance clearly, Lin was shocked and lost his composure. Please spare me. Why did it happen to be you? Today, at this time. I couldn't help but cover my face with both hands, and Lin said in pain, what kind of expression should I use to face that child tomorrow? Audiences from all three worlds are extremely anxious. Why did Lin behave so uncontrollably? But today, I won't give a face. People have no idea who the person lying on the ground is. Everyone knows that this character is not simple. But I just don't know who it is. After a moment of contemplation, Lin took out his red pendant. This is a remedy that can still be made. The screen went black. When the screen lit up again, Lin was already lying on his own sofa. It looks very depressed. Silently, Rede appeared to report the situation. He did not find Lancer's owner, but found the red pendant she had left behind. The originally calm Rin sat up with a stirring spirit. Wait a minute. If Lancer's master knew that the target he should have killed was still alive. There is only one possibility when encountering this situation. Rede responded calmly. I will definitely let Lancer go back and give the other person a final blow. As the camera rotates, Rede jumps between tall buildings holding Lin. He was very helpless and said, You're really going to cause trouble for yourself. Lin naturally understood his meaning, but she still replied. How could a person who was saved at such a high cost be killed like this? In no time, the two arrived at their destination. As soon as Ling landed, he rushed out. However, Red A's expression changed. Wait, Lin. Servant's aura is more than one. This sentence makes the audience tense with time. There will be new followers again. And the more people there are, the more interesting the battle becomes. The moment when Lin slowly turned around and was stunned, a figure wearing silver armor and holding an invisible weapon, killed from mid-air amidst the howling wind. The audience of the three worlds were all breathing briefly and staring wide. Rin was in a state of panic, and as soon as the servant approached, it was done. Fortunately, Red A issued a warning and rushed out at the same time. At the critical moment, blocked the opponent's attack. Bang! The two remained silent and began a fierce confrontation. When Red A saw the person in front of him clearly, his expression changed again and again. After a probing attack, the two of them distanced themselves. Under the illumination of streetlights in the alley, a golden-haired girl with skin like sheepskin and beauty like a fairy stood quietly. Her azure eyes emitted a faint light. Tie a blue ribbon around the hair at the back of the head. The blonde girl is dressed in a blue dress adorned with silver light armor, exuding a heroic spirit. Although she is an extremely beautiful girl, she exudes a royal aura all over her body. The clump of silly hair on her head revealed a hint of silly cuteness. The two contradictory attributes blend perfectly in her. Red A and Lin were both stunned. Servant. Saber. Meanwhile, combine a line of characters next to the blonde girl. Altolia Pandragon, Jean Gunhild, the audience from all three worlds were also stunned. That feeling is like seeing an elf in a secret realm. The most surprising was the crowd in Mond. Everyone had speculated earlier that Qin's past life would be summoned. Now Qin's past life has finally officially appeared. Everyone is very curious about what will happen next. After a long pause, people finally came to their senses. Moment the entire screen is covered in barrage. Various exclamations and praises appeared. Extraordinary chat group, Alicia. Wow, this is an elf coming to the world. Kafka. Ho ho, this is a beautiful girl that can rival Rin. Black Swan. This girl is not only full of heroism but also cute, and it feels like she's a type of man-woman killing. Blonia. I remember Saber was the strongest follower that Rin wanted. Mona. I said my divination was correct, didn't Qin's past life appear? Amber. It has to be said that even without annotations, one can easily understand at a glance that this young girl is the past life of the piano band leader. Eula. Yes, the same dignified and elegant, giving people the first impression of being the knight. Noelle. That's right, she's the ideal knight in people's minds. Qin. Is she my past life? Altoria Pandragon. Kelly. Great, the past life of the piano captain has appeared. Just as beautiful as the piano captain. 10 explodes, Red A and Weigong Shilang are the same person. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin stared blankly at the huge screen. There is one's own past life, Altoria Pandragon, inside. It's not because my past life doesn't seem very similar to me. Instead, it's because the two are too similar. Knight, blonde and blue-eyed, girl, swordsman, elegant with just one glance, Qin understood. That girl is her past life. And Qin also felt an inexplicable feeling. I have countless connections with her. My past life has really appeared. And there's one more thing. People are generously praising Saber. Even if that's not who I am now. Qin's heart also feels that he is praising himself. Make oneself slightly proud inside. Lisa beside Qin was much quieter. Qin's past life is very similar to this life. If you don't know the cause and effect, you will think you are sisters. Lisa, who was originally planning to tease Qin, covered her mouth. She realized that she accidentally slipped her tongue. Qin regained consciousness from shock and shook her head slightly. It's okay, I don't mind. With a slight sigh, Qin's gaze unconsciously turned towards the direction of the Westwind Church Cathedral. Barbara, dressed in a pastor's uniform, looks at the screen at the Shifeng Church Cathedral. That figure, movement, charm, temperament-like, so much like. Just like my sister. Just like the head of the piano troupe, in Barbara's mind, the figures of Qin and Saber overlapped. This past life is too convincing. Barbara is not the only one who thinks so. Other nuns in the church also sighed. When can I be as tall as Saber? Barbara reached out her hand and leaned over her head. I hope this can help me grow taller. Suddenly, a voice rang out beside me. In the past life, this kind of unreliable listening thing actually existed. The past life of Qin has made me even more convinced of this. Perhaps the church's regulations are not entirely nonsense. Barbara hurriedly put down her hand and looked at Rosalia beside her. There was not much reaction from the other party. I guess I didn't see my movements just now. Barbara held her breath and responded. Well, maybe the legend is true. People can really be reincarnated. In that case, I really want to know what my past life was like. Rosalia snorted softly. I don't want to see my past life. If it weren't for causing too many sins, I wouldn't be like this in this life. Barbara let out a sigh. Rosalia doesn't want to say much. Turn around and head towards the other side of the church. Before leaving, there seemed to be something that came to mind for a moment. By the way, Barbara, if we just use our hands to simulate. It won't grow taller. Rosalia has already walked away. And Barbara petrified on the spot. Ju was actually seen, sobbing. Oh. It's so embarrassing. Her pretty face turned red. People are extremely shocked by the appearance of the Qin in its past life. Various barrage began to flash on the screen. Many people praise Saber. After all, no one would not like a cute and handsome girl. However, people were surprised for a while. The huge screen in the sky trembled slightly, and the picture went black. This leaves the audience puzzled. Saber and Red A are about to start playing, why didn't they continue playing? Soon, the huge screen lit up again. This time, it's a completely different perspective. People finally saw the boy's face clearly. That's right, the young man's name is Shiro Weigong. And the most amazing thing is the annotation next to it. Weigong Shilang, He Wenxiao. The audience from all three worlds seemed to be struck by a bolt from the blue. With such an explanation, they naturally understand the meaning. Red A and Weigong Shilang are both the past lives of He Wenxiao. People can't help but carefully compare the appearance of the two in their hearts. Upon careful observation, the similarity was identified. Suddenly, all three worlds were fried. Even the controversy surrounding Saber's recent appearance was overshadowed. This intelligence can be described as stirring up 1,000 waves with just one stone. Extraordinary chat group, Naxida. I still remember the initial display of Weigong Shilang plus Red A. I thought it was a different identity, but it actually meant two people. Walnut. How could there be two people in a person's past life? This is really a long time to see. Pai Meng. Hey. What's going on? I feel like my brain's not enough. Ing, please explain to me quickly. Kiana. In the past life, two people appeared together. Is it a split nerve? I can't understand now. Expression. Dizzy. Teresa. Kiana, that's called schizophrenia, not neurosis. The back figure before was indeed Yoshihiro Omiya. March 7th. Hey, is it difficult to say that A's memory loss is due to this reason? Silver Wolf. Even if you think about it, it's impossible for two people to exist at the same time. Hill. Is it difficult? Is there a technology that can split people in two? Charlotte. Ho ho, truly Mr. Wenxiao. Not only is this life full of various legends and unbelievables, but even the past life is so wonderful. Gong Yu. There were two people in the past life, which is really unbelievable. But considering that it was the immortal Lord's words, it is not unacceptable. Shen He. I also agree with Gong Yu's point of view. There is nothing impossible about that immortal Lord's words. Gong Yu. Hey. So Miss Shen He is also here. Not only in chat groups, but in reality people are also chatting. Due to the excessive explosion of intelligence just now. People can't even discuss it if they don't want to. Why did two people appear together in He Wenxiao's past life? What is the relationship between Red A and Weigong Shilang? What will their relationship become? The more you think about these issues, the more I look forward to the upcoming plot. People are once again focused on the huge screen. Looking forward to the next screen revealing the answer.